What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Metro Drive. And today we're going to talk. Look, I think about this a lot. Every day of my life, I'm thinking about this topic of generally speaking, happiness. And a lot of that comes from, a lot of people hate their job. I'm going to cover a broad topic here. The broad topic is if you want to, if you're not happy with what you're doing, you need to change it. Everyone wants to, you want to live like nobody else does. You want all these privileges. You want whatever you want. I mean, everyone's got something different. Personally, I don't, like we're in Michigan, it's summertime. I never want a boat. I just don't want a boat, but people do. Okay, so if you want whatever you want, but you don't want to put in the work to get that, then you can't really complain. And so first thing, the obvious thing we're going to talk about right now is your job. If you hate your job, 85% of Americans hate their job, you should quit. Okay? I'm not saying quit this minute and sign in your resignation and say, yeah, Coach David told me to quit. I'm saying you should make plans to quit. And I've done this math, guys. I've done this math so many times. I'll just break it down for you. If you're working, there's 164 hours a week, right? If you're working, the average American works 44 hours of those. On average, I understand some work more, some work less. If you sleep a total of 56, we'll call it 8 times, 56 hours, okay? And you spend 2 hours a day with your family or friend or whatever. You spend 2 hours, of FaceTime with them. That leaves 54 hours to do something else. Like, you can have a second job. You can get a second job. And you have to, I was watching a video by Joe Rogan, Gary Vee, just last night. Like, you got to buy that window. So I'm not saying quit cold turkey and I'm not saying quit cold turkey and then now you're screwed. Although if you're young, you can do that. Like, if you're 20 or 19 or 28, if you're my age and live with your parents, then you've got that opportunity. Like, it's not cool, but you've got that opportunity. And so you need to pounce on that. I was just talking this morning. I was on the phone with my brother-in-law and we were just talking. I was like, it infuriates me. The thought of working somewhere that makes you miserable, that doesn't make you hop out of bed because you're so excited. Like, everyone's excited, everyone's excited to hop out of bed when they're getting on a plane going on vacation. It's amazing what red-eye flights we can catch if we're like, hey, I'll wake up at 4 a.m., go to the airport, I'm jacked. Why? Because you're going somewhere you want to be. But yet, it's like waking the dead when you want to go to a job that is, that is killing you slowly. It's like that, what's that Office movie? Office Space, I think. He's like, every day I wake up is worse than the day before. So every day is the worst day of my life. That's a comedy. But the reason it's funny is because 85% of Americans can relate to that. And so we wonder why we have anxiety. We wonder why 40 million Americans have struggle with anxiety and stress and depression. And so you want to do these things. But here we are, like, what are you doing, what are you doing to alter them? Like, if you come to me and you've got an issue and you want to, I made a video about this last night. I can empathize with you. I'll listen to hear what you have to say and give you the respect of that. But if you're coming to me to complain just to complain, you're not going to like my response, because the next thing is, what's the action step? What's the action step? What's the action step? And guys, there's who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, if let's say you change, you may even take a pay cut, to go do something you like, to go do something you love. Well, what is that worth? If you would have done it for free anyway, and now you're taking a little bit of a pay cut, and you're just you're lower middle class, but you're doing something you love, that's winning. I guarantee that's winning. That's just one avenue of living, like nobody else. By the way, where I heard what is it? I think it was a Dave Ramsey quote, just because I like to give credit. It's like, live like nobody else so you can live like nobody else. I'm sure he modified it from somebody else. Like, everyone's got they have a habit of stealing people's quotes. So By the way, if you ever want to quote, like misquote me or not credit me, you know, that's fine. Shame on you. But the next thing is, if you've got, I get a lot from parents, right? And let me back up a minute. My goal, like, I don't want my wife to ever have to work. I don't ever want her to have to work. She's currently an RN right now. She works, she does home health care. She also helps us out at the gym. I want her to do nothing but raise my children. That's my personal conviction. That's the way I want it to be. I know, like with everything else that I want, that we want for ourselves, for our kids, for whatever, I'm not going to get that 40 hours. I just know that. And I'm okay with that. So knowing that I'm not going to get it in a 9-to-5 grind, you know, in some corporate bubble, like a cube, then I've got to work more. And so I'm telling you, we have this conversation. It was 10 years ago. I was like, look, I'm not going to do something, you know, something I hate for a company that I hate going to, only to, you know, for them to fail and have to have the government pay them out anyway. Like, being an entrepreneur is not much. I mean, it's more risky, but it's not like you have a ironclad job across the board. You know, wherever you work is at risk. And so if you're going to be working 40, 50, 60, or 70 hours a week, it better be something you love. And so I take that all back to, I want my wife to, you know, if I want these things for my wife, my kids, my whatever, the question, you know, because we get a lot of parents that, yes, you know, your program is great. It does so much. Yes, I can see, you know, everything that Jiu-Jitsu does, they're recognized. Like, they're selling it for me. I was like, cool. Are we ready to make them a member? And then we share our packages with them, and they're like, oh, you know, I can't afford that. And which we're comparably priced for every other activity, but like the benefits can't be compared. And I'm thinking to myself, one guy hit the nail on the head, and Rocky, I'm gonna call you. This is to your credit, bro. So if you're listening, word, respect. He was like, you know, showed him the packages. He's like, whatever I gotta do, I'll take up 7. I don't care, because he saw the value of it for his daughter. He was like, I don't care. This is worth it. This is what I want. I don't care what I have to do. So when you're saying you can't afford it, and you're one of the 85% of Americans who only work, you know, 44 hours a week, and the other hours you're doing whatever, you know, I just broke it down. You've got 54 hours of extra time. What you're telling me, what I'm hearing is, I don't want to work that hard for my kid. That's what you're saying to me. I mean, like, I could, you know, I'm not in that position to go and break down your finances and show you where you can cut out that $2 coffee and show you where you can, but full disclaimer, like, I buy coffee because I work for this, you know what I mean? So I'm not condemning any of these things. I'm just saying, if you can either A, work harder, or B, get resourceful and cut out things that you're spending lavishly on. Man, you guys, this is a side tangent, but the story's worth it. Somewhere back on my Facebook, like, it's like circa September 17 or something, I made a post. I was burning $18,000 a year. When I say burning, I mean I was spending $1,500 more than I was bringing in. And it wasn't because I wasn't working. I was just because I was really bad with money. And really bad with money because I bought stupid stuff. You know, at least, you know, I had car payments. I had car payments on ridiculous cars, like a Shelby GT500, ridiculous car. You don't need that car, all right? So these stupid things to keep up appearances with which other people, you know, to look good in front of other people. I'm currently driving in my whatever year, 04 Honda Civic right now, and I don't care. Like, I don't care what you have to say about my Honda Civic. I own it, you know, and the Blue Book value might be $3,000 on a good day, you know, but I own it. So, in fact, I'll probably try and post a link to that Facebook video, but it's all about, like, anything you're going to tell me about any situation, I've been there. And so you're not going to, like, I don't say this when I speak of parents, but it's like, anything you're going to tell me, I've been there. Like, I really have. Like to the point to where, and I've brought this up before, I sold my house. I sold my home so I could keep training jiu-jitsu, because I realized that brick and mortar and wood and drywall and big friggin' pile of paint was not the same value and benefit that jiu-jitsu is. And I realized that if Gary Vee calls them golden handcuffs. Man, I wish I'd come up with that phrase. Because they're golden handcuffs. It's like, great, you're enslaved to work for this piece of building that's depreciating as we speak. And so now you're like enslaved to it, to work for it, to keep it up. When admittedly, the house was like, Amanda and I lived with it, most easily 50% of the house didn't get used. And so, like, why are you doing it? And a lot of people, I just encourage you, look forward. Hit the fast forward button in 20 years. What has changed? And if you have an idea, like if you want a good indicator, hit the rewind button 10 years. And what has changed? If nothing has changed in 10 years, I had my 10-year reunion a couple years ago. Bro, like, I love my classmates. I love all you guys, but like, we got to do something. Like, there should be more of a significant change in a decade. There should be more of a change. And I don't want that in 10 years from now. I want to be looking back at these videos or looking back at my family or looking back and be like, wow, what a change. Not like, hey, doing the same thing. We're complaining about the same job, arguing, the same stuff. The people in general want to grow and they want to advance, and the way you do that, is by plotting out that roadmap. Like, if let's say we want to take a road trip to Florida, you don't just get in the car and go at a leisure. Like, man, you book it. Like, you set the nav button and you lay on the pedal because you want to get through there as quick as you can. Like, you want to get there as quick as you can. You need that roadmap. So hit the button, fast forward 20 years. Where do you want to be? Write it out and then work towards it. Most of Americans are taking it day by day, week by week, and they're just like, yeah, but they're not putting in the work for it. 44 hours a week, guys? Like, is it really worth... I read another post by Jim Carrey. He was embellishing a little bit, but he's like, it's pathetic that people hate their job. They look forward to the 2 days out of the week, the weekend, where they can get drunk and forget about the rest of the other 5 days. Like, okay, obviously not every American gets drunk every weekend, but what he's saying is, why is it 2 divided by 7? I can't even do the math. Someone else. Why is it that such a small percentage of the time we enjoy? It shouldn't be that way. And I've said this before. I listen. You read these history books. If it was 1500 AD, different story. Okay, your options are a little bit limited. It's 2019. Okay, people are successfully making millions of dollars by making videos like this. And the point of this video is not to make money. I make exactly $0 off these videos. The point is, like, I'm doing what I love and working towards it because I'm putting in the work towards it. If you're not happy doing what you love, or you want something for yourself, for your kids, and you're not willing to put in the work and put in the resources day in and day out and week after week for 10 consistent years plus, then you have no room to argument. You have no room to complain. It's like they say, if you don't vote, you can't argue about the whatever, And I'm almost confident that's the reason some people vote, so that they can argue about the president, whoever he is, somebody doesn't like the president, no matter who's in office. Obama, Bush, Trump, doesn't matter. We complain about him. So that's the thing. Like, if you don't get permission to complain, like if you're working 44 hours a week and you're not actively trying to grow something or do something or better something else into something that does make you happy, bro, that is your fault and your fault alone. It's not your parents' fault for raising you. It's not your boss's job because he's your jerk. It's not even the government's fault because they talked you into getting a student loan for a debt that is now, for a degree that's now worthless. It's nobody's fault. You're a grown human. You need to take responsibility for that. It's not my fault. It's nobody's fault but your own. And the second you admit that, yes, trust me, I've done this. So that's the reason I'm ranting on it, is because that's where you start. Once you put that weight on your shoulders and you're like, okay, this is heavy, but that's where I need to go and I'm going to carry this. Well, now the work starts. And so now you quit going out with your friends on the weekends. And now you pass on that trip to Coachella. And now when Lil whatever rapper is on the scene I don't even know anymore comes to town, you don't go. And now rather than staying up Netflixing and chilling until 2 or 3 a.m. so you can wake up tired and do terrible at that job. Now you work on something else. Now, let's say it is a good degree where you can get a good job that you love, medical field, law, whatever. You go and get that. Now it is I'll even say this, a second job that you hate just to stack that paper. Just to stack that paper and buy you that window. Whatever it is. Like, and guys, I don't think people realize 54 hours a week of extra time, man, you can stack a lot of money real quick if you're not spending it on dumb stuff. Like I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars very, very quickly. You cut back stupid stuff out of your budget, you stack the extra paper you're making, and boom, that's it. And most of the people that are going to watch this that I'm talking to, you live with your parents. Like, or you have you have a low income. I know the people watching this aren't lawyers who hate their job making $100,000 a year and live at, West Bloomfield in their $400,000 home. I doubt they're the ones watching this. It's the 20-year-old, the people with a college degree working at the gas station, with a college degree working wherever, at Bigby, with a college, so I'm not ranting on this. I'm not discrediting college degrees or anything. I'm just saying, if you're not happy, you need to make a change. Because guys, there's nothing more frightening than fast forwarding 30 years and you're in the same boat. That's depressing, guys. That's depressing. If you are happy, trash this video, skip to the next one. That's it. You're good. But if you're not happy, or you do want something for your kids, you got to go work for it. Anything worth having is worth putting in a little bit of work. You don't hear any great stories about I wanted greatness, so I kept doing exactly what I did, and I was able to squeeze it in just 5 minutes a day. Nobody. Never once. Never once. It's always Steve Harvey, lived out of his car. It's always Joe Rogan, broke comedian for years and years. It's always, Alan Belcher, busted UFC fighter and dead afterwards. It's stories that we would make fun of, that we would look at that, look at that loser. Look at it. Get a real job, Joe Rogan. You're a comedian. That's never going to pay off. Steve Harvey, get a real job. That's never going to pay off. So that's it, guys. If you want it, you got to work for it. And here's the thing. When you're working towards something great, there's a supernatural energy that comes from that. That lights you up and sparks you up. I will spend 3 hours or 2 hours just because I'm weird like that, OCD, writing a blog about jiu-jitsu, critiquing it. When back in school, if you wanted me, I had to write a paper. Only the one semester of college, I had to write a paper on Charles Manson and the family. And I was like, bro, this is how people die. I just can't, I can't do this. Even though it was a cool research paper, I didn't want to write about it. But when I'm writing about something I love, or talking about something I love, or whatever, people can feel that. So guys, I'm telling you, it's not going to be that bad. You're spending your time, the 54 hours a week, doing worthless stuff. Please just put it towards something that's going to make you happy in 20 years. Please put it towards something that you're going to be able to attach to your child's success in 20 years. Please do that, because there's no reason for it anymore. And that is episode 15 of the Metro Drive. Guys, I'm Coach David with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. If you have any questions, hit us up. 734-225-6230. I hope you enjoy your day. And today, if you start the afternoon shift, start right now. That 54 hours of working on something. If you're currently at work, maybe you snuck in the back room to watch some YouTube videos or whatever, Facebook videos. The second you get off work, discontinue your Netflix account and get to work on this. So, as always, I will see you guys on the mats.